In this video, we're gonna learn how to hit the proper forehand drive, which when I asked Toby what to expect, it was also different from what I expected. So let's do it. All right, first, do you wanna see the difference between your forehand drive and my forehand drive?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I already see a major difference and I know why. You're driving it like snappier and I'm driving it much more through.
Yeah, so I think the idea is that you have a little, like you're holding back a little bit, I think.
Okay.
Because I'm actually trying to hit it really hard.
Okay.
Right? Because this is kind of like my finishing touch. So when you hit like a hard drive on the forehand, if you're not thinking of trying to win the rally, then you are holding back essentially.
So how do we hit this forehand drive? Where do we start?
So the first thing is footwork. So we want safety first.
Safety?
Because we don't want anyone to roll ankles or anything. So there's a little bit of a way to move.
Okay.
So again, this is a precaution.
Wait, people roll their ankles hitting forehand drive?
If you do the footwork incorrectly, then there's a risk.
Okay.
Because we do want to land on the side of our foot.
To show us incorrect first then.
So ideally it's push, right foot, and then right foot step. Here, and then jump.
That's
right?
incorrect? That's correct.
That's the correct way.
Okay.
The incorrect way really is just where your balance is, right? If my balance is up here, right, and I tip over this way, then my foot is going to go down this way, right? So ideally, anytime you jump, you need to land in the middle between your center of gravity. It has to be between your legs.
Right.
So when I'm coming here, it's going to be outside and I'm going to land. So even if I hit a shot, make sure you land wide enough so you don't roll your ankle.
Okay, first of all, I didn't even know we were supposed to jump on this shot. I was just taking a step.
Right, so when you jump, right, it gives you a way to jump laterally without going up.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to push and jump this way.
Okay, that's the footwork. We jump laterally instead of just taking a step.
So really push off the left foot and then it's like a right foot step. So here, all right. So when you land, you can hit at the same time.
Right. Okay, let me try this. And it makes sense because doing this feels like I can finish the point a lot more.
Yeah, so just try the footwork so you don't kill yourself and then we'll see kind of how it goes.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so yeah, you turn your foot out. Try to keep it sideways. So you're pushing here and then again.
So you shouldn't turn it out?
No.
Why?
So I can push back this way.
Okay, so more of the recovery we shouldn't go out. So it's like this.
Yeah.
But this does seem dangerous, like the rolling ankle thing.
Yeah, so that's why we mentioned it.
Okay, so this is just, you need proper technique to do this.
Yes, we're learning a technique here.
Then you should just practice this starting off, right?
Yeah, could do that. It's actually very natural. Yeah. So if you were doing side to side smashes, it's the same. Okay, same. It's the same forward. Okay, looks fine.
Makes sense. I mean, just with the jump, it already makes me want to finish the rally. Now that we know how to do that, which I already feel like my drives are a lot better, what is next?
We want to be a bit more efficient on how we swing, or actually how we start the swing. So ideally, you actually want to have the racket up first.
Okay.
Because what if it's too fast and you don't have time to swing? Then you still need to be able to block. So don't kind of have your racket back here when you start, because that means you're all or nothing on that one shot.
So this just follows the concept that you taught before, is just following the bird.
Yeah, and then when you start with the racket up, then you can kind of have a few more options in case it doesn't exactly go the way you want to. Right? And then from here, you can actually still execute a good full swing.
But your racket's always going to be up anyways if you follow the bird, if the shot's like around that level.
Well, you're supposed to, but a lot of people don't.
Okay.
Right? So you looked at, like, if you watch your swing when you prepare, you actually will probably start in this.
Like when I was doing it, that last one, I was also doing that?
Yeah.
Even though I was trying to follow the bird, I was still doing this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. So you're saying that when I'm coming up right now, I'm still coming from this position.
So we'll give you an easy example. So if you want to practice this, right, this is kind of an easy way of doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'll give you a shot from the middle to your backhand, right? And I want you to just use the left foot, bring it over to my side. Then I'm going to flow you the forehand.
Okay.
And then you're going to hit it hard.
Okay.
Okay, so now I want you to try consciously, after you hit this one, bring the racket into this position.
So that one, I was consciously trying to do that.
Really?
So it's not, I do feel late, but I don't know why, even though I am trying to do it.
You're doing this, and as you're moving, you're kind of, there's a little bit of a dip.
Okay, so racket first.
Yeah,
for our leg.
Here, then right away.
Got it. It's more like anticipation. Because I feel like what I'm doing right now is like there, I'm trying to get this shot is why my racket.
What you have to worry about is probably the midcourt, right? If they lifted it, then you just come up. You have a lot of time.
Right.
So now you're actually anticipating, I guess, the most dangerous shot for you, which would probably be that one. And then so is it really anticipation or is it your best option, right?
Mind games. Is it anticipation or is it just what you're supposed to do? Okay, my drive's already pretty good. I don't know what we can really improve at this point. What can we improve?
You need to be able to aim sometimes. So we want to delay timing slightly, similar to our backhand. If you hit it really early, crosscourt. Hit a bit later, middle, and then hit really late, kind of almost beside you, right? Then you can hit straight.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, but give it a try. It's actually not
as easy as it seems.
With some practice, you'll get it.
But the people in the comments are gonna say, this is so easy, Alex, why can't you do it? Why can't you do it? If you're watching this video, it's probably because you can't do it. So roast yourself. Okay, gotta keep you guys in check.
So it's not bad, but then your straight swing actually is a bit different.
It's different, not just later contact point.
Yeah, you almost need to hit it like beside you. So it's the same kind of like swing, but it's kind of like, if I'm turning here, straight, middle,
and what am I doing?
You're kind of like,
I feel like what I'm doing is like if I was doing a trick shot and just lagging my wrist.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the deception here is trying to keep the same swing, but for all shots. So if your timing is a bit off and maybe you can't really get across, you can still hit straight. Okay. The only thing to be careful of is don't hit too hard when it's straight because there's a good chance you hit the back. So you got to take a little bit of power out of it.
The one thing I'm curious about right now is you're changing the direction of your shot based on your contact point.
Yes.
Right? How I kind of approach it is I'm changing the direction of my shot based on my wrist position. It's still contact point, but instead of my body turning, it's my wrist.
Yes.
What is the downside of me doing it like that?
I feel like you lose a lot of power,
okay,
because you use the wrist. Then you're hitting like a different shot, right?
Is there more deception in using the wrist? I can see how I lose power because if I'm just doing this, then I'm actually not turning with my core.
So kind of if you think about this idea is like, depends on how much you practice, right? So if you have limited practice, like a question is like, would you rather change your footwork and keep the same swing? Or would you rather, you know, have the same footwork, but different swing?
Makes sense. Yeah. We pretty much know how to hit the drive. But one thing I learned about this whole process forehand drive, it seems like when we're playing doubles or mixed doubles, we just want to get to the forehand side. Is that the goal?
It depends on your style of play. But again, if you can't really hit very hard on the backhand side, right, then your best trade-off, if you don't have that much time to do different things, is take it very early, right? And then you can put a lot of pressure just taking everything early there. As people like try and hit the other side, and then when they hit the other side, then you can add the power.
But is our goal playing like this not to always think about how can we get to our forehand position? Like set up, we're trying to set up for the forehand position always.
Yeah, I mean, ideally that's same as like smash, right? You're not gonna like try and backhand smash if you can forehand smash much better, right? So that's kind of the same trade-off.
You have a bonus step for us. What is that?
Right, so we can add deception and hit a it's kind of fancy, it looks cool, right? So when it looks like a hard drive and everyone's afraid of you because you're hitting it very hard, right? It's a very small change just to play soft crosscourt, right, shot. So they're very easy. If everything is set up here, right? I just don't take it back very far, right? Just kind of use a little bit of squeeze and then just guide it crosscourt. It's really easy.
You don't take it back as much?
Because I need to hit a quick shot, right?
But I thought when we're doing the sideways thing, we're already not taking it back that much. Our racket is just up and we're just kind of going through.
We start here, but when you add the power, you will add that backswing, right? But for the sake of this shot, you don't need to add this before a soft shot.
You don't need to add the wrist drop.
Yeah, so this is the deception.
Okay.
Then you just add the...
Deception is in the setup, not in the swing.
Yes, that's what makes it easier.
That's actually a really big thing. Is in the setup and not the swing.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's not how I've been doing it, but I can see how that makes sense. Let me try it.
Yeah, try it.
We're relearning badminton here, guys. So deception and setup and then swing. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. I'm just trying to process this new learning of deception is in the setup, not the swing. Because previously I always thought I want to make my look like I'm smashing and then hit a soft shot. But the difference that makes is maybe like 5 to 7% of like this, how much deception it adds. Like it's very little, but the inconsistency of doing that is like 30% more.
Yeah, you just kind of make it harder for yourself. So you're just kind of trading off like a little bit more simplicity on your side and then making the shot over.
Right. But if you reach the highest level, eventually you probably do get to the point where your swing also needs deception, not just the setup, right?
Yeah, it depends on the shot you're trying to hit and then what kind of position it is. It's usually with this one, if you are in position to hit a hard drive, you'll strike fear in whoever you're playing against.
Right. But it seems like for up to like 90 or like 93% of shots, if you just set up with deception, that's already like you're set for deception.
Yeah.
If you want more information about deception, then make sure to watch our next video over here.